Peter Schweizer is the author of The Invisible Coup and the president of the Government Accountability Institute. So what are they thinking about in Beijing?
They're in a panic, Jesse. I mean, look, anytime you have these kinds of military operations that are taking place, they have ripple effects. These ripples are actually tidal waves in China. Think about it. Over the last 58 days, between what happened in Venezuela and what started happening in Iran, China has lost two of its most important allies in the developing world. They were big energy suppliers, about 20 to 25% of their energy. But China was able to buy that energy on the cheap because they were sanctioned companies. They were paying $15 a barrel less than anybody else was. And by the way, they weren't paying in U.S. dollars. They were paying in the Chinese currency. And that has been a long-term objective of China to move away from a dollar-based economy. That is all gone. But it's having effects that we don't even fully appreciate, Jesse. Look at the AI race. You think, what does this have to do with AI? Well, two of the biggest AI contractors in China are Huawei and ZTE. These are big telecom infrastructure companies. They're vital to China's AI capabilities. They both have huge contracts in Venezuela and Iran for which they are now not going to be paid. And you know, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars in contracts of revenue that they were expecting to get that they weren't getting. They were doing a lot of AI testing in these countries. So the ramifications are enormous, and Donald Trump has really shifted the equation with China within a matter of less than 2 months.
And we're testing our AI in real time under extremely dangerous conditions. So we're getting even more intelligence than they would ever get tinkering around on a computer. The fact that now we control anything that ships out of that strait, so much oil flows out of that strait to the whole world. The fact that we now control it, what does that do to China?
It now means we have a chokehold on the strait. Look, assume that China wanted to move on Taiwan, right? There's a military response, but now we have a massive energy response, which is we simply don't allow any tankers to ship oil from the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz. We can do it. It might have been a little bit dicey had we not taken out the Iranians. That's roughly half of their oil. 40 to 50% of their oil is now suddenly not available to them. So those are enormous methodologies. And look at what happens in terms of military technology, Jesse. China provided their most advanced air defense capabilities to Iran. We completely destroyed them. They didn't shoot down one American or Israeli plane. This is reminiscent of 1982 when the Israelis flying F-15s went up against the Syrians flying MiGs, and the Israelis beat them 81 aircraft to 0. What happened after that? They couldn't give the MiGs away. So China now has the problem that their military technology is not recognized as being up to par to the United States. That's going to have huge implications with a whole host of other countries.
Right. So they lose a bunch of customers and they lose face. Now that the United States, if this mission is successful, now we have no idea how this is going to play out. We're praying it works out. If it's successful, what kind of position does that put the United States of America with Venezuela and now Iran more in our orbit?
Well, it means that a lot of countries in the developing world that might have been flirting with China don't want to flirt with them anymore because they realize that, A, China can sign all the quote-unquote strategic partnerships they want, but they're not going to do anything about it if their allies get in trouble. I mean, all China's done is send some scolding messages. They haven't done a single thing to stand up for their allies. Second of all, they understand that you know, this administration is the partner that they want to be in business with, not Beijing.
Wow. It is a new world order, that's for sure. Peter, great to talk to you. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.